Wine being followed by a moon shadow, leaping and hopping on a moon shadow. Did it take long to find me? I asked the faithful lie. Yes, did it take long to find me? And are you gonna stay tonight? I'm being followed by a moon shadow, leaping and hopping on a moon shadow.
Welcome back. This video is probably going to be the most complicated video that I'm going to share about Chaco Canyon. In addition to what the people there learned about the equinoxes and the solstices and marked out with their building orientations, they were also following the lunar cycles. Now, I've picked up this book whilst I was out there. In astrology, there is something called the lunar nodes. The lunar nodes are not actually a physical item, physical object like the moon or Mercury. The lunar nodes are mathematical points of where the moon travels above and below the ecliptic that all the planets rotate around the sun on. It's like a plane or a flat surface is the way to imagine it happening in the sky. So their nodes are where the moon crosses over the ecliptic, and it's what actually creates an eclipse when the moon is lining up between the sun and the earth, or the sun is lining up with the moon and the earth, and it's creating either solar or lunar eclipses. And depending on the exactness of it, it will be either a full, total eclipse or partial eclipses. So when we're thinking about this from an astrological point of view, you know, there are the 12 signs of the zodiac, and the lunar nodes will be in each sign for about 1.5 years. So like right now, for the last few years, the nodes have been in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio, and now they're going to be moving into the signs of Libra and Aries, because the nodes move backwards through the zodiac signs. So something to think about is that it takes 18 years, 11 days, and 8 hours, if you want to be exact, to complete a full nodal cycle. And in Chaco, they were mapping this. They had completely tracked the entire lunar cycle. So when we're thinking about this from a astrological point of view, they had a long enough time to be researching this. They had enough years to be researching this, to see where the moon was coming up and where the moon was setting for over 18 years and tracking it. Now, in the biodynamic calendar, we use the location of the moon for transplanting and other things. And I can only imagine that this society, with the location of this canyon being in a drier part of the world, although it was wetter at the time that the civilization was there, knowing the cycle of the moon in addition to the cycle of the sun was going to be vital. So here's just a little bit from the biodynamic calendar. So if a new moon occurs at a node, there's a solar eclipse as the moon is directly in front of the sun. If a full moon occurs at the node, then there's the lunar eclipse where the Earth's shadow falls on the moon. Even if the eclipse is not visible from where you are, it's an unfavorable effect on plant growth and is shown as an unfavorable time in the almanac. They use a gray bar. And then that's just the visual to see how it looks. And just for, so here we are in August, and so there's only 2 days that have unfavorable times listed on them. And that's Wednesday the 30th, and for a short amount of time on Monday the 21st. This is for the northern hemisphere. So just before I read this other part that I wanted to read to you, astrologically, if you're thinking about the nodes being every 18 years, then you might ponder about your life in terms of the years like when you were 18, when you were 36, 54. And then because the nodes are always in the opposite sign, if you think about the halfway points, then those years are also a place to ponder about in your life, like when you were 9 or 27, 45, 63. These check-in points, there could be a reoccurring theme happening on every 9 years or every 18 years. Okay, let me bring you forward to this other page I want to share. From approximately AD 900 to 1130, the Chacoan culture, a prehistoric Pueblo society, constructed numerous multi-storied buildings and extensive roads throughout the 80,000 square kilometers of the arid San Juan Basin of northwestern New Mexico. Recent evidence suggests the culture extended over an area 2 to 4 times that of the San Juan Basin. Chaco Canyon, where most of the largest buildings were constructed, was the center of the culture, and the canyon is located close to the center of the high desert of the San Juan Basin. The Chacoan buildings were constructed on a massive scale with large public plazas and elaborate road connections. What makes it so curious to me when I think about the astrology part of this is to find out where the major and minor standstills of the moon correspond to the moon's nodes. Do the major and minor standstill, what signs do they occur in? Do they always occur in the same signs? Is this a repetitive cycle, or is there something that is spiral about it? Do the major and minor standstills track through this 18-year cycle of the moon's nodes by moving through the astrological signs, or do they always occur in the same place? So I'm hoping that the other book, the Moon Track book, will help me discern that information. Additionally, the Chaco people created these amazing roads, and let me just get to that page. Hold on a second. So just a quote from the book here. The Chaco roads have been noted for their great width and unusual linearity, and they have been described as extensively engineered. The roads were developed by excavation to a smooth level surface, and some of them actually included masonry construction. There's approximately 300 kilometers of roads, which includes the Great North Road, and all of this has been documented over the last 15 or 20 years. They're now using LiDAR to detect the roads, as weathering has made it a little more difficult for just standard photography to show the roads. So what were they using these roads for? They're just, obviously, it was a trade center. Obviously, there were people from other communities coming in for celebrations, and I'm going to say for learning, because the Chaco people, with their just exquisite buildings and their understanding of the cycles, they, I'm sure, were teaching and sharing the knowledge that they had gathered with the other communities. So, all of this, I cannot wait until I can go back again. I'm going to post as many I'm going to link as many videos under mine as I can for those of you who are intrigued to learn more about Chaco Canyon. Humble respect for the people, and also for the generations of people who, the Chaco people were their ancestors, for the people who are alive now, which would include the Hopi and the Navajo, Dine, and other tribes that are in the Southwest, for allowing people who are not indigenous to come to this place and to see the structures and to attempt to understand what this civilization was working on. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you all in the next video. Till then.